Welcome to the best of first-person episodes from Phantoms and Monsters. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified of all future uploads. On August 31st, 2020, I received a call from Madison, Wisconsin resident Deshunda Johnson in reference to her personal UFO sightings and encounters. I contacted Phantoms and Monsters Fortean Research and Singular Fortean Society investigator Tobias Wayland and asked him to look into the claims. The following narrative is his investigation and report. 45-year-old delivery driver Deshunda Johnson spoke with the Singular Fortean Society's lead investigator, Tobias Wayland, recently about a series of UFO experiences she had in and around Madison, Wisconsin. The first such sighting, she said, took place in July or August of 2001 about 9 p.m. She said, "My friend and I were going to work driving on Stoughton Road in Madison." She said her friend said to her, "Look, Deshunda, what is that?" I asked her what she was talking about. We were getting off of the Beltline Highway onto Stoughton Road, going to work, and to the right in the wooded area that looks like a marsh going towards Stoughton and McFarland, there's a green light that just shot up. She asked, "Did you see that?" And I said, "Yes, I saw it." I put my foot in the accelerator and took off. When I see stuff like that, the only thing I know is to take off. Who's going to be in that marshy area shooting off firecrackers? There was no noise. We had our windows down because it was nice out. That was the first time I saw something like that, she said, and after that my sighting started. When we got to work, my friend said, "You all won't believe what we saw." I told her not to tell anyone because they'll think we're crazy. She told me, "Deshunda, you know that wasn't a shooting star. Shooting stars come down. They don't shoot up." I said, "Yes, I know, but that's why I'm not saying anything." The following week, she added, her daughter and her boyfriend said they saw the same thing. Johnson told Wayland that she wishes that she would have documented the sighting better. When you see it the first time, people think they won't see it again, or they pray they won't see it again, she said. Her next sighting came in summer 2007. "I had something strange happen to me over on McCann Road in Madison," Johnson said. "My son, he's the one who spotted it. It was above me. We got out of the car after coming home from the grocery store, and there was an object floating above me like that looked like a cloud. Actually, it was a cloud. There were no other clouds in the sky. I told my son, 'Get the groceries out of the car.' We stayed just off of McCann Road in the townhouse. He said, 'Mom, look.' And I said, 'Look at what?' And he said, 'Above you.' When I looked above my head, and I'm short, this thing was over my head, and I don't know what happened. All I know is I was thrown. I said, 'Get in the house.' My son, he almost hit the wall looking at it while I was trying to run in the house. Now, I didn't know what it was, but it was a cloud. There were no other clouds, and no cloud moves like that. It had 4 white lights circling inside of it. It hovered over me, and I kid you not, when I moved, it moved. It was close enough that I could touch it, but I was too scared. It was that low. I ran into the house. I wasn't going to stand there anymore. There's no way I'm going to stand under something that I don't understand and I don't know anything about. We got into the house, and the thing stood there for a minute. Then it moved into the backyard. Now, there were people in the backyard in the next neighborhood, and it moved over to between my yard and theirs, and there were people there who had their phones out and who looked like they were taking pictures and staring at it. As I was standing there, something told me not to go out there. I wasn't going anywhere. It stayed there for about 20 minutes. It wouldn't leave. It was like it was waiting for something. Now, after that, I'm always looking up. I called the police and asked them about the lights, Johnson explained. The woman I spoke to said she had gotten some calls. I told her not to laugh at me. This is something strange. I've never seen anything like this. She asked me what it looked like. I said, "You need to get somebody out here." Johnson said that ultimately police did not visit the scene and no official report was made. Now, the Singular Fortean Society has not yet been able to corroborate the sighting using police records or the testimony of any neighbors said to be present. but this article will be updated with any new information or evidence that is discovered. Now, after the sighting, said Johnson, strange stuff started happening. She told Wayland that she was woken one night, what sounded like someone running in her bedroom. She woke up and her door was open. She said it was previously just opened a crack, and all I heard were footsteps in my room. My heart just started pounding. I got up and thought maybe if the dogs or something. I went downstairs to check, but the dogs were in the crate. I went to my son's room, and they were asleep. I looked under the bed and didn't see anything. I asked my boyfriend at the time, did you come in my room? He said no. He said he was out down the street. I asked him if he was sure, and he said yes. I told my landlord I had to move, she continued. I had been there 8 years. He asked me why I wanted to move. I couldn't tell him. Johnson's sightings continued on July 7, 2020. I had to go to the back roads and drop off on County T off Sprecher Road. Way before I got there off Mesta Lane, there was a light so bright that at first I thought it was the sun. I'm at the stoplight and I put my visor down. I said, the sun is bright. I looked at my map and I see I have to go off County T, way out in the boondocks. I headed out there and all of a sudden I looked to my right after something said in my head, look to the right. When I looked, an object was above the power line, stationary. I had my windows half down. There was a man in a car close behind me and I thought he had to be doing this. But when I looked again, his car was way behind me. It felt like I was moving, but not fast enough. I was staring at it. I couldn't keep my eyes off of it. It had a green light on the bottom. It was black, a round dome, and I'm just looking at this light. That lasted for about 2 minutes. When I got the lady's food to her, I looked at the time, and it was probably 8:06 or 8:07. But she had ordered her food an hour ago, and I was thinking, looking at the clock, that it's only 8:06 p.m. I got home and I was still shaking. My eyes were red and irritated by the brightness of the light. A week later, she had another sighting in the same area. I went to my ATM to get money out, and they had just built these buildings right after I saw this thing off County T. I saw this green ball of light hovering over the building. It wasn't a bug. It looked like a sphere. I said, no, we're not doing this tonight. So I got in my car and left. The green ball of light went off towards East Town Mall. Most people might have followed it, but me, I'm going home. That's not the first time that I had seen those things, and I don't understand what I was seeing. The strange thing is, while I'm driving, I said to myself, if I ever see anything like that again, I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of it. But it didn't happen that way. Now, Johnson's most recent sighting occurred at approximately 9:15 p.m. on August 30th, 2020. She was in Stoughton, delivering food near the intersection of Roby Road and Kings Lynn Road. When I looked at my app, it said that I was 2 or 3 minutes from the house. I was going through the neighborhood when all of a sudden, and this is not the first time this has happened to me, something told me to look to my left. I just looked over and I said, what in the, and I said, this plane is flying really low in its flight. So I slowed down. I saw kids in a group across the street, and I looked, and all of a sudden I got nervous. It was just staring at it. I was just staring at it. That's when it was like, uh-oh, it's stationary. It's not moving. All I could see were the lights flickering. It was over houses, and it wasn't that far away from me, maybe 200 or 400 feet. I know what I saw. It looked like it was multicolored red-white, but it wasn't bright red. It was almost like orange. As I was looking at it, it just stayed in one spot. It looked black. I wanted to get out and take a picture of it, but all of a sudden I got really nervous. I said, should I? No, I better get this lady her food. I'm sitting in my car just looking at it, driving slowly, just looking at it. As soon as I said, okay, maybe it'll be there when I get back, I'm saying to myself, no, just stop and take a picture. Because people, nobody's going to believe you've seen something like this. I kept saying to myself, no, that's a plane. That's a plane. I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. The thing tilted up, and when it tilted, it was a triangle. It had a light at the top and one at the bottom on each side. My eyes got bigger than my glasses. All I know is when I saw it, what it did, and I turned back, that thing took off. I put my foot on the gas and dropped the lady's food off. It's as if it wanted me to see it to say, no, I'm not a plane. That was not an airplane. Nobody can convince me. Now, Johnson further explained that she had her car door open slightly, but was afraid to get out because she thought the craft might approach her if she did. According to Johnson, the sighting lasted a minute or two. Shortly after the sighting, Johnson spoke to a friend in Stoughton who said she'd seen a lot of strange stuff out there. Johnson wondered if it was perhaps a craft of trying to communicate with her and that it might be tied to a series of psychic experiences she has had in her life. I'm a clairvoyant, and I've had out-of-body experiences. I see auras around me, I see colors, and that if they have a certain color, then I don't go near them. I would tell my mom, and she would just tell me to shush. I never understood that. I thought that maybe there was something wrong with me, she said. She told me that she had the same thing, but she blocked it. You can tell people all day long, but they never understand. But that's not the only strange experience Johnson said she's had in common with her mother. There were days I would wake up with bruises on my arm. I don't understand how I got them. It looked like 3 claws, like something had scratched me, like I was fighting something. She said, I remember this clearly. My mother said to me, I used to wake up with the same marks on me. Those marks might be explained by another experience related by Johnson. Now, this event, she said, took place at her childhood home in Joliet, Illinois in 1987 when she was 12 years old. The house we stayed at the time was in the country, she said. There was a barn there and some nearby houses. They built a lot there now, but at the time there were a lot of fields and we had a big backyard. I had to stay late for detention after school one day. I remember going to the house after I came home thinking that I was going to be in trouble, but nobody was home. I had to go through the garage to get into the house, and I saw the car was there, so I didn't understand where everybody was. So I started calling Mama. And I called for my sisters, but nobody answered. Just that the phone rang, and I went to go pick it up. A robotic voice said to me, little girl, is your mommy or daddy home? I dropped the phone. The minute I dropped it, I felt sick. I felt drowsy and sleepy, and I had a headache. I laid down in the bunk bed of our room. It was like I couldn't move. I saw 4 little things come into the room. They were suited up. It was like a skin-tight blue protective suit. They were bald with big black eyes and really not much of a nose or mouth. And all I can remember is being paralyzed with fear. I was trying to fight it. I was trying to move. 2 were on either side of me, and they weren't touching me. It was like I was levitated. I was looking at one of those things straight in its eyes, and I'm trying to fight it and I can't move. That's all I can remember. Now, Johnson later asked her sisters where they were that day, but they said that her sister maintains she doesn't know what I'm talking about. She never watched much science fiction or absorbed media similar to this when she was a child. And it wasn't until her 20s when she started seeing representations of beings she encountered that day. It's never left my mind, and I wonder if that's why I'm into this stuff now, she said. I see people talking about it, and I think, that's what I saw. That's what came into my room. When asked if she had had any bedroom visitations since 2007, Johnson replied, I have not, and I pray to God I don't again.